And so almost 10 years later, the best we could come out with was 412. Now, and let's all be honest, those Gen 1 Coyote motors, trash. Trash, y'all know. And you're gonna get mad. Like I said, I told you, this video is going to make you upset. But you all know those Gen 1 Coyote motors were trash. Yeah. So some years ago, I made a video on this channel talking about why the Terminator was better than the Coyote. And I may have lied to y'all. All right, what's happening, everybody? It's your boy Ken Sean with the world famous one and only, the world renowned built versus bought. Back in the day when I was blue over media, you know, I was so in love with the Terminator motor that I went out and made a bold statement to say that it was better than the Coyote motor. And why some aspects of what I said may be true from the old video. It's a few years later and my argument may be a little different. So today I'm going to provide you all with an unbiased view of the Terminator motor versus the Coyote motor and the pros and cons. So the Terminator, which is the 0304 Cobra motor, versus the Coyote, which is the modern 5.0. Man, this has been a classic debate on this channel for a very, very long time. Let's talk about the Terminator for a second. The Terminator, the OG underdog killer. This was the motor that shut down everybody back in 2003 and 2004. For you all that don't know, I believe the production number for 2003 was around 19,000. But the production number for 2004 exactly was 5,664. The reason why I know that number better than 2003 is because I have a 04 motor in my car, and it shows how rare it is. Understanding that this motor was built by SVT with forged internals and the Eaton blower. And, you know, back in the day when you heard that Eaton blower, you knew it was an 03 Cobra, 03, 04 Cobra. Because that Eaton blower is loud and sounds amazing. Focus on the Coyote. Coyote is Ford's modular marvel, introduced in 2011 with high revving, naturally aspirated power. Now, when we put the specs and do the two versus each other, horsepower, torque for the Terminator was 390 with 390 foot-pounds of torque. Coyote, 460 for the Gen 3. Rev limit, 6,500 RPM for the Terminator, 7,500 for the Coyote. Forced induction, Eaton M12, M112 blower, sorry. And then Coyote, didn't get it. Internals, forged for the Terminator, Coyote, cast, Gen 1 and 2. When we talk about tuning for the Terminator, it takes boost like a champ. Do you hear me? This is why all of us want to just take that supercharger off, throw another one on there. It takes it like a champ. And, you know, I think 600 wheel. You could literally slap a supercharger, some injectors, get a tune, man. You get 600 wheel easy. But the Coyote is the same. But the Coyote may take boost just a little bit better without changing anything. Matter of fact, I'm going to say it to the world. The Coyote takes boost better than the Terminator as is. But it's also, it's also what, 8 years far in advance, and then the Gen 3's crazy. The pros and cons when you have a Terminator, it's only, you know, 20,000+ of these motors. So it's not like the Coyote where Coyotes were in F-150s, Mustangs, whatever, etc. Well, it's not a lot of Terminator, you know, stuff out there, which is also why it's not enough Terminator support. And so, you know, the aftermarket support of the Coyotes, I mean, stuff comes out every day for Coyotes. Let's just be transparent. For the Coyote swap right now, for a Coyote motor, even if you're not doing a swap, even if you're just upgrading your S550, X650, your F150, whatever you have it in, there are tons of parts for Coyotes. There's tons of information. You can go on any Facebook forum. You can go anywhere. Google, you could probably put it in whatever, and you will get whatever information you need for a Coyote swap. Whereas the Terminator, it's not that easy. Not that many people have swapped it. People have, but it's not in the tens of thousands like it is for the Coyote swap. So the level of information is just not out there. I'll give you a perfect example. One of the biggest problems with people that did Coyote swaps on the Foxbodies back in the day, and it was a problem that I've had only up until recently, and I just figured out the issue. When you ran long tube headers, your steering shaft will rub up against that header. If you ran any long tube header, no matter which K member you ran, your steering shaft will rub up against that, or it's possible your steering shaft could rub up against the head because of the setup of the K member that you had in the car. Luckily, today, UPR K member, if you get their 96 to 04, put it in your Foxbody, and then use, guess what? Their Coyote swap motor mounts. Crazy. It'll literally have your motor in the place that it needs to be, where the steering shaft doesn't touch the head nor the header. You heard it here first. I want to make that clear. You heard it here on Bill versus Bart. So for anybody that is trying to get a Terminator inside of a Foxbody, use a 96 to 04 UPRK member with their modular motor mounts, which is their Coyote swap mounts. You'll thank me later, all right? I'm not saying I'm the first person to figure this out, but I'm the first person to put it out here to you all. Now, it really comes down to what you ultimately want. When I decided to do the Terminator swap, I wanted the rarity of not having what everybody had. And I knew that this community was going towards the whole idea of the Coyotes. We're going to put Coyotes in here. And I'll just be transparent with you. There are many days, I mean, even while I'm making this video right now, there are many days that I think of, why don't I do a Voodoo swap? Why don't I do a 5.2 or a Coyote or the 3.2.1 Coyote situation inside my car? Because the tuning is easier, the parts are easier, it's easier to get this stuff, and I can make minimal. I can put that setup, take the setup out of my car minimal. I can get 200 more horsepower. And then there's the sound difference. Man, Coyotes versus Terminators is night and day. The sound is night and day. I would say Coyotes are a little bit louder. I prefer the Terminator sound over the Coyote. But in my opinion, the tuning and everything for the Coyote can really run better because of the modern technology that comes along with it. Don't get me wrong, even with having a Holly, all the things of that nature, a Coyote swap, every part, you can just literally go to anything and you get every part and it's going to fit right in there with no issue or no problem at all. And so it really boils down to nostalgia versus modern refinement is the best way to put it. Like, do I want my car to be super modern or do I want it to be nostalgic? I want it the nostalgic, but then sometimes I'm not going to sit here and lie. Sometimes I just want that Coyote feel because I know I can get more power without spending another $15,000 and building my motor just to get to that number. But it just is what it is. And so with that, I'm going to go down and say this on record. And so everything I said in my previous video, I'm going to make sure that you all can see the link to my previous video. But I'm going to say this on record. Man, the Coyote motor is better than the Terminator. I'm probably going to get kicked out of every 03, 04 Cobra forum, but let's just be realistic. It is guys that's taking Terminator motors out of their 03, 04 Cobras and putting Coyotes in them. It is guys that I have seen who had Terminator swaps that are now putting Coyote motors. I'm not seeing nobody go the other way. Like, let's just be real. The Coyote motor is the motor of today. And it is just much easier to work with, much easier to tune. It's just more parts out here for it. It's just more things you can do with it. It's just way more options. With the Terminator motor, you can't even find another set of valve covers that they make. Nobody even makes valve covers for these motors. But look up Coyote swap valve covers. It's something that's even $1,800. Like, it's a whole lot of them out there. The only point that I'm trying to make is that as it relates to the cost of build, you can get more horsepower for your bucks, with a Coyote than with a Terminator. So budget builds, it's going to be easier. Coyote. The Coyote, bottom line, is easier than a Terminator. But for me personally, I do love the nostalgic piece of the car that I have, having that motor, even though I know I'm limited. And if I want to go further, it's going to go deeper into my pockets. And so this is where you just got to find peace with what you have. And so, yes, I'm going on record for everybody that I may have said this differently. The Coyote motor, the Coyote setup may be a little bit better, but the fact that in 03, 04, the 390 horsepower that the Terminator had, and I really say that and mean that, um, it set a standard for Ford, and it set a standard like that motor and that car was hurting everybody. And so to put that nostalgia for me and swap it into a Foxbody or to swap that into any car, it just has a different feel and a different look to it. And so that is my argument now with the Terminator versus Coyote. I love both of them. For the nostalgic side, I'm gonna run with the Terminator. But if I want something that's gonna do the work, reliability, and fast, I'm gonna go Coyote. Let me know what you think in the comments about the Terminator versus the Coyote. It's your boy Ken Sean with Bill versus Bart. I'm out.